The domestic auditing office space, now, has criticized by the government's flagman sameness inspection schema. A murderous paper says Czech has fallen so brief of its goal of 25 millionth users by 2020, operating just 3.6 millionth so distant. The government has had to reduce its estimates for Czech's finance benefits by 75%. It says challenges these are to be anticipated while the government is work at the foreground of new technique. The Czech plate was start up by the government digital facility, GDS, in 2016, designed to be the failure way for human beings to show their sameness for on the internet by the government services. Of Czech revenue tax to reception gain payments, GDS's aim was for Czech to be a share sameness gateway through by the government departments, in 46 anticipated to be associated to the plate by March 2018. But just 19 by the government services now use Czech and 11 of those can yet be available with some on the internet system. For those how do use Czech, problems are common. Now just 48% of human beings who try to mark up for the facility are success on their at first attempt. The bet is though reduce, 38%, for versatile letter of credit claimants with the facility to certify their sameness on the internet. That has led to enlarged operative expenses, in the Division for Job and Pensions, DWP, weighting its expend on guide inspection to be on £40 meter above the following 10 years. The now paper reflects how it has been a stimulating draft, but challenges these are to be anticipated while the government is work at the foreground of new technique. But Meg Hillier MP, who chairs the Social Accounts Board, named Czech a tutorial instance of by the government's above optimism and program management fail. In spite conducting at low £154 meter on Czech, just part the human beings how try to mark up are capable to use it and get up is lot reduce rather than anticipated. The paper notes how the full price of Czech is in reality potential to surpass £154 meter, as the drawing does not involve the sum it has priced departments to reconfigure their system to use Czech. Of the named expenses, more than rather than a third has lost on payments to the business sameness providers over the framework, consisting Barclays and the position office space. In supplement, 6 by the government departments include yet to pay for the services, totaling £2 meter in outstanding invoices among them. By the government is due to halt financing Czech of April 2020, transferring transactions above to the individual segment. It is not yet precise which it will price for by the government departments to go on with Czech while by the government financing stops following year, told Ms. Hillier. All these setbacks indicate the estimation for Czech's finance benefits has been crossed by the government of £873 meter, as GDS forecasted in a 2016 industry instance, downward to £217 meter. And though the fixed drawing is in question, as the now says it has been incapable to check the alleged benefits. Though in the background of GDS's overridden objectives for the program, it is hard to sign how subsequent decisions to go on in Czech include been quite justifiable, the paper says. A entire new way of making main by the government IT programs lot more than effectively, how was the pledge of GDS? Instead of, its largest draft, Czech, has rotated out to be the identical old history of intermittent engineering failures and skipped targets, or, as the now puts it, the hopefulness prejudice and a fail to set precise objectives we've seen so lot times up. I got a precautionary of how behind in 2014 while I was guest into the office space to be one of the at first human beings to try out Czech. The GDS crew colored a irresistible sight of a framework how would offer countrymen a easy way of access on the internet services stipulated by and more digital by the government. But in spite their top efforts, while they tested to check me, the machine told, not. Dentition twists how will quickly be graded of, I mind. Yet, 5 year on, less rather than part of the human beings who try to mark up prosper though following they've had their sameness affirmed by one of Czech's business partners. Lot of the big by the government departments were enemy to GDS of the begin, vision it as a risk to their order to run their own IT projects. Maybe how's one of the reasons why fair 19 departments include signed up to use it, while 46 were imaginary to include go on executive board by currently. The largest astounding reality in the paper is how 6 by the government bodies how are with check include unsuccessful to pay their billing for it, though following creature invoiced by the office space. The by the government will end center financing for check following year and it is precise it has just been stored on water for so length since of the part it was imaginary to act in the regulation of versatile letter of credit. Else penalty chaos later, and as far as conclusion a way to run main social segment IT projects, it is behind to the figure executive board.